Marathon is cooked, and there's a lot to comb over here. I want to do a bit of a recap because there was a lot of things I think pointing to this game was in a troubled state, but we've now learned a recent development about some significant things that took place at Bungie, as well as some new comments from an insider to look at and just consider where this game is likely headed. And yes, some of this is directly related to some pretty significant events from my own life. So obviously doing my absolute best to stay professional here while also wanting to talk about everything that's gone on and just continue to impress upon people to fully look into everything that happened in the past and then consider what has recently happened that really sheds light on how trustworthy certain persons are. And I will continue to say that more will likely come to light about other people as well that will once again do the same thing. So, Marathon is cooked. That's kind of what I want to talk about. And just a quick recap. We learned earlier this year that there was a director switch on the game, and it happened in a really strange way. IGN essentially reported on it, and as they were about to report on it, the new director was like, hey, I've been the director on this game for like 9 months. And it was like, wait, what? It was very, very odd. At the time, we also learned there was a change in direction for the game. They were going to go to a cast of heroes instead of a customizable, character that you could build. And there was a pretty negative response from the public about this. Now, at the time, I said that any time someone leaves a company very quietly and we're not told why, and they don't sort of say, hey, I've had such a great journey, I'm going somewhere else. Anytime somebody gets appointed to a new position and we don't really get told why, it's probably because something happened. Now, I didn't know what happened, so I didn't want to intimate or insinuate at the time, but I did say something probably happened. Now, that could be a huge argument, or it could be somebody that's just toxic, but the recent news paints a very clear picture. Christopher Barrett was fired after an investigation found him guilty of misconduct, and he was apparently, this is according to the investigation, he was preying on his subordinates with messages and unwanted advances. Sony was apparently involved in this investigation as well, and that is why he was fired. Now, there is more to it than that. That likely is not really going to bode well for the project. Apparently, according to reports, members of the team were told that Barrett was on sabbatical. They only recently learned about this, that there was an investigation into numerous reports and complaints, I think roughly 8. At the time, when I covered the toxic work culture at Bungie in 2021, I tried to draw people's attention to the fact that that IGN article was a puff piece. It attempted to paint Bungie as the hero, and I tried to say, if you read carefully, there are women at the company, or victims, or men, we don't know their gender, but there were people at the company, there were victims at the company who were still fearful to speak out because the retaliation culture was still there. That timeline lines up with Christopher Barrett's misconduct. So there were people at the company that felt fearful about speaking out. Some of them were even paid to be quiet through NDA deals, non-disparaging agreement deals. They were basically paid to be silent. A lot of people that are accusing me of trying to make this situation about me and we should only care about the victims. They were the same people who used their outlets and their platforms to make Bungie look heroic back in 2021. They didn't care about the victims. They didn't care about the people who were still scared of speaking out at the company, and taking up for those victims now in order to, wail on me publicly is just another form of cowardice and dishonesty. So go back and watch my coverage of this from 2021 when the toxic culture of Bungie was exposed, and look at how some of the Destiny content creators covered it. Look at how people who were in good with Bungie covered it. They didn't want to burn their bridge with Bungie, so they were well in line to kiss the ring and lick the boot. Now, previous comments from Jason Schreier also makes it very clear that the game isn't in a great spot. He said on the Friends Per Second podcast, the feeling at Bungie around Marathon is not great, and that it reminded him of Kill the Justice League. There's just a lot of sunk cost, and, they're just going to kind of ship it anyway. Now, that doesn't bode well, and it also corroborates the previous IGN reporting that basically said they just want to get the game out the door, but they were also fearful that the leadership was going to leave in 2026 in droves once they get their final payout from Sony. As Sony amortized the purchase of Bungie, those payments are not yet done. So basically what we're looking at then is a game whose director was found guilty of misconduct, was fired, the direction of the game has changed, feeling around the game internally is not great, and that there's just a lot of sunk cost in the game. And now we have even newer comments then from another insider, Tom Henderson. Now he said that the game is cooked, and he said it's not just because of the former director being fired for being a predator, it's because things that he has heard. To quote him directly, he says, it's not just this, but everything I've heard. And he was referencing the article that showed the former director to be a predator. And yes, that word's interesting, isn't it? The previous coverage that I had on this is I said, listen, just cancel it. Just cancel Marathon. Concord has flopped, and flopped hard, and many of us said that it was going to flop. And Marathon is likely headed for the same fate. Everything surrounding this project stinks. And I would say right now your best course of action is to, whether or not they could conserve some of the things they've developed for another game or lessons that they've learned, I really think they should just refocus their efforts on Destiny, because it's where most of their money and most of their history is. And with the shrinking of the company and the CEO saying that they broke up too much of the company and the talent and got spread too thin, it's clear that this game is one that should not be in the bandwidth. It should not be one that is being made. So I am basically saying, listen, just cancel it. This game is cooked. There ain't no way this thing's going to come out and be in a good state. Is it even going to come on time? They have recently set the video to private. There is a VidDoc or ViDoc, however you pronounce it, about Marathon that's been set to private. Now, that's likely because Barrett is a key figure in the video and they don't want that out there. But that's just one more piece of this puzzle that makes this game, I think, very, very much in a bad state. And as I say, it seems to be completely cooked. So those are just my thoughts on the matter. Now it's time to hear your thoughts. And I'm sure that many of you are going to have questions about everything that has happened. And my exchange yesterday on Twitter with Paul Tassi, I had to call him out because he was saying things that were not true. None of the people that covered the story back then covered it in great detail. They never got my side of things. And if you're going to tell the public that you did, I'm going to have to correct that public record. You have no right to lie to the public and tell them things that are not true. And so I think that just continues to show who can be trusted and who is reliable and who you should believe in this situation. So I'm sure you guys have questions. I'm sure you have thoughts. I know there's probably a ton of you here. Just take a brief second, do the things that we always do. Smash the like button. That does help this video find more people. And I know there's a lot of people. I'm seeing folks in YouTube comments. I'm seeing people on Twitter take up for me. And I greatly appreciate that. It's been a long, hard fight to survive and to continue to provide for my family and endure falsehood and lies and misrepresentations. I will say this on the outset because I know everybody always brings this up. So feel free to say this to people. They'll say, well, he admitted to everything and he apologized. This is simply untrue. In the beginning hours of everything happening, I made a very generic apology video about inappropriate remarks. That's all I've ever apologized for. I have never apologized for any of the lies that they told. Even the things I apologized for were very much exaggerated and misrepresented. And in the wake of my apology video being up, I saw other claims made that were false. I saw accusations that were not true. So I was like, well, I have to take the apology video down because I have to address these claims. And so the timeline is very confusing to people because I was accused by a bunch of people at the exact same time and they blocked me. So I couldn't see what they were saying. And so that's why that timeline went that way. And I've continued to say I would like there to be an investigation. I've continued to say that I would submit to a discovery process. And none of those people are willing to do that. Nobody wants anything official to happen, which I think screams very loud and clear. Look at what happens when an official investigation is done. You find a predator in your company. Look at what happens when you send a couple of tweets. And then when I brought evidence to the field, I was banned from Twitch. And Twitch never spoke to me. Twitch never, asked me any questions leading up to that ban. It was just done in response to me defending myself. So that's kind of the timeline that I think really gets lost with a lot of people. They all think like, oh, he confessed everything and then he took it back. And it's like, no, that simply isn't true. If you believe that, I would encourage you, go watch the apology videos. They're still available. People have re-uploaded them. I've never tried to take those down. You can watch them and look at what I actually apologize for and look at what I say did not happen. Even in the beginning of everything, when I was in a complete state of duress and panicking, I said, listen, some of this stuff just did not happen. So I have some people to thank. You guys are throwing a lot of support my way, and I appreciate it. Wooly, my man, he's been in my corner ever since he looked into this, which is extremely interesting. I think people get really frustrated by this. I have so many people on my side who weren't even there when all of this happened. So they don't have a I love Lono bias. They don't have a, oh, I love Say No to Rage bias. They looked into this into the aftermath. And that's something I will always have that the liars will never have. I will always have truth and facts and evidence on my side. And anybody disconnected from the bias, hate Lono Destiny group of people, anybody outside of that sees this for what it is. That's why more and more people support me. That's why more and more people believe me. They're not cult. They're not my cult. They're people that looked into this on their own, and continuing to insult the people who support me, who looked into this on their own, who had no idea who I was during the Destiny era, insulting them and calling them a cult. That just, again, I think really speaks to the character of the people who continue to try to say that I'm something that I'm not. And the people that continue to find that evidence are going to continue to grow. And the people who continue to believe the lies and refuse to have it looked into, or refuse to look at all the evidence, they're going to continue to shrink. So the tide's turning. More and more people are on the side of truth and facts and not on the side of all the lies that were told. So thank you very much, Wooly. He was one of those people very early on. He doesn't know me from the Destiny era. Vix Vapor with 23 months. 8-Bit Dad with 17 months and a Member Plus. Guys, if you upgrade to Member Plus, you get to help move the member goal. So consider upgrading to Member Plus or VIP. We're trying to hit a huge milestone in that. That's a separate thing from the goal. The milestone is completely separate, and when you upgrade, you help us hit that milestone. Steve Lamp with a $5 super chat tip. John with 31 months and a VIP. He says, good morning, Lono and chat. I'm so glad this is finally coming to light. Like you always say, the truth stands the test of time. We always have your back. Thank you very, very much, John. And that moves the line as well. 17 months from Polarin says, freaking finally catching up. Thank you. Yes. I always said at the time that the truth would come out about these people and that the bad actors would be exposed, and it's not done. Okay? It's not done. There are some people right now that I know continue to have to live in the fear that the truth about them will come out, and I continue to trust that that will happen when it's supposed to happen. Truth doesn't have an expiration date, and it'll come out eventually, and we will once again say Lono was telling the truth, and these people were not. That will continue to happen. And a 20 bomb from Cat. A 20 bomb from Cat does it, and Lethal Escape does a 5 bomb. And then a single from Joker Quinn. Hang on, let me add these individually. So the 20 bomb takes us to 55. And then the 5 bomb takes us to 60, and then 61 with Joker Quinn, and then 71 with the 10 bomb from my man Detective Seeds. An insane gifted member train happening right now. Jom gifts a member and takes us to 372. 373 because UK Gamer renewed their VIP 24 months, 2 years. Thank you for the daily shows. Karma is a very real thing. I support you, Lono. A 10 spot from EP82. This is Pit Viper from the Twitch in the early days of the YouTube streams. I'm glad these people are getting what they deserve. Thank you. And then Belphegor with a 5 bomb. And then another 5 bomb from Mile High. G-Mini Christmas. You guys are just pouring it on right now. Tip of the iceberg says Shu with 18 months. Here's to your perseverance. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very, very much. So, okay. I got through all of that. Let me just read what you guys are saying here. Bungie's one disaster away from Sony taking the reins. I tend to think that Sony is taking the reins. That's why they initiated this investigation. It seems like Bungie, as I said back in 2021, they brushed this under the rug. Do you wonder why? Barrett's from the old guard. He was probably protected. He was probably protected by HR and the higher ups. That would be my guess. My guess is that he was one of the ones protected. And Sony came in and said, no, we're looking into this. Narwaffle with the 5-bomb. Gorthysis with the 5-bomb. That's 10 more members. 393. Absolutely unbelievable show of support today, guys. It's just incredible to see. Yeah, a lot of people are getting into the comment sections of videos and sticking up for me. I really appreciate that. I was made aware that, True Vanguard referenced me in his video and once again said things that are false and untrue. He has continued to say things about me that are false and untrue, and, that's his choice. I'm not going to go out here and smack down every video that lies about me, but that's been a continued pattern with that individual. She said she knew this was going on. She didn't want to whistleblow and say anything about this. He's not the only one they're protecting. Yeah, there are plenty of people that the truth about them will come out. It will. It will. And the difference is there will be evidence. There will be clear things to show that it happened. The evidence that they tried to use against me was fabricated and faked. I can't believe that nobody finds that just utterly alarming. Even the people that hate me, you should be alarmed. And like, why would they fake evidence? Why would they fabricate things? Like, if I'm this terrible person, why would you have to fabricate evidence? Like, where's the evidence? Where's the paper trail? All these guys, all these predators that get caught, they always have a paper trail. There's always a ridiculous amount of evidence. And with me, the only evidence they had was fake. And I proved that in my video. Wired Rope with the 5-bomb. And Dominic with the 5-bomb takes us to 403. I don't even know what I owed you. I'm going to have to go back and look at where we started on the day. You guys have gone so crazy on the member train. It's just unbelievable. Drac with 27 months. I've been back since I learned what actually happened, sticking around till the very end. I appreciate that. VIP renewals, Member Plus renewals, those count in the weekly goal. Thank you so much for doing that. Dauntless says, refresh my memory. I'm sure there are people here that don't know today. How are the names in the news today connected to you back then? So, this is something that's getting lost in the shuffle because all of these men, I use that term very loosely, all of these men scrubbed their timelines. They hid everything that they said and did. Because some of them lied, and some of them knew that they were going to be essentially caught in those lies. Bro Sexy with a 5-bomb, thank you so much. On the day of my Twitch ban, I published an hour-long video proving definitively that they had fabricated evidence, they had told lies, they had completely misrepresented events, they had completely embellished certain events. Okay? And a 50-bomb from Behemoth! Unreal! Oh my gosh. Whoops. Wrong number. There it is. 459. Behemoth, you're a monster. Alright, everybody just sit back for story time while Behemoth takes over the chat. So on the... no, Astacross has never lied about me. Astacross took his video down the minute he saw there was another side of the story. He's the only one that has handled this with grace and integrity. I mean that. Every content creator that made a video, every content creator that dogpiled, he is the one man that I have any respect for. He has handled this with grace and integrity. And we weren't even friends. We had very little contact. So, oh my gosh. Oh, hang on a minute. A 20 bomb from Street Shadow. A $20 gifted. I'm sorry, $20 super chat. Great to see Bungie and Sony get this guy out for Marathon. Saying it's cooked feels premature, but most games come together in the final months. Long ago, Yoshida said he didn't like the early build of God of War 2018. Justice for Lono. Thank you. I'm going based off of what Jason Schreier, an insider, said, and now Tom Henderson is saying. Those are two insiders saying the game's in bad shape, basically. Dead Rot with a $100 super chat. May folks find the wisdom and humility to re-examine opinions based on trust laid in flawed prophets. I really, really hope people would just take the time to listen to me. You can come here and ask me questions. I have never shied away from answering questions. I have always invited a full investigation. Investigated. I will let you do discovery on my DMs, on my Twitter. I don't have anything to hide. I've consistently said, do an investigation, please. I want my stuff back. An investigation would show that I got absolutely railroaded and misrepresented. Detective Seeds with the $10 says, got your back, Jack. Thank you. $10 from Asian the Merce. The incident was a good opportunity for people whom were misled to apologize and bury the hatchet. There's a subsection of the D2 community that can be a bit cultish. That is certainly true. Okay, so we got to go back to story time. Sorry, I got interrupted by a bunch of malicious generosity. Okay, so I believe it was July 2nd of 2020. I went on the defensive because I spent 2 weeks looking into claims that were false. Now, I missed some of those claims. I didn't even see that, like, the guys at Rare Drop said I had stolen a badge and snuck into areas I wasn't allowed to be in. Once their claims were proven false, like 7 months later, they deleted all their tweets because I think they were worried about the potential ramifications of using their platform and their brand and their organization and their event to lie about me. It was proven with eyewitness testimony that they were not telling the truth, and I even got Goth to admit that they were given secondhand information. I got him to admit that on a podcast that I did with him. So, the day I received my ban, it was 5 hours after I published the video. Everybody was obviously very upset. They didn't think that I had a right to tell my side of the story, and I believe that people found it pretty compelling because it was a 41-page document with receipts, with images. I showed the other side of a conversation to show that me and this person were mutually flirting. I think that that was wrong, but that was something that was mutual, and it was created and cast in a way where I was like some kind of a creep. And so I go through this whole thing. 5 hours later, I'm banned from Twitch. And in the wake of me being banned from Twitch, Christopher Barrett tweeted an image of Fox Mulder. It was an animated GIF. And Fox Mulder receives a message that says, all done, bye-bye. And it was seen and it was viewed as him taking credit for my Twitch ban. Now, Upper Echelon gets this wrong in his video. He thought that Barrett was taking credit for my Destiny ban. My Destiny ban happened like 7 months after the fact. I was banned from Twitch July of 2020, and that tweet from him signaled to everybody, hey, this guy called in a favor and got rid of this creep, right? He was essentially taking credit, which is not surprising because Bungie and Twitch were working together at the time. They were getting ready to do a gifted member emblem incentive. A now deleted tweet, by the way. Correct. That tweet where Barrett took credit for my Twitch ban is now gone. The tweets where Rare Drop, where King Gathalion, Professor Broman, and Kevin all claimed I had done things at their events like stealing a badge and sneaking into areas, all those tweets are gone. They scrubbed their entire timelines of anything about this. Now, 7 months later, people were looking into it. People were wondering why this happened to me, and they started to get certain people to talk. And whenever they would talk on Twitter, they would end up deleting their tweets. One such person said that, Bungie corporate attorneys were consulted before they did this to me. So I spoke to a former employee of Bungie who said that Bungie was running a narrative against me at the company. They were involved. They were involved in the takedown. And so when he sends that tweet and essentially takes credit for my Twitch ban, when this happens right now, I think that there's clear evidence to say these people are not to be trusted. They hide things. They cover things up. They're not trustworthy persons. And if you combine that with all of my evidence, I think it's clear that these people are not to be trusted, that they misrepresented situations or completely made things up. It calls, to me, and I know people are like, why are you making this about yourself? It calls everything into question. How can you not say that this calls everything into question, especially when other people involved also have misconduct that could come to light? It's all connected. It's all connected. It calls the whole thing into question. And the more that comes out, the better. The more truth that comes to light, the better. Because I basically was completely deplatformed. I lost all of my sponsorships. I lost a Twitch channel that was providing for my family. I was earning 6 figures. I bought a house. And I lost all that in the blink of an eye because of a handful of tweets and embellished stories and exaggerated things and things that were completely made up. You always have to ask that question. Why are they just allowed to fabricate evidence and lie? Why doesn't that bother? That should bother people. And now you see why. You were dealing with people that were not upstanding and that were not trustworthy. Thoughts on Goth since your discussion? I see now he's back on the rare drop board. Oh, he is? Good. Good. They'll have to answer for things that have happened then. What happened with you and Bungie? Well, I was banned from Destiny in early 2021. I was banned from Destiny in early 2021, and they never told me why. It was a dev ban. I was never given a reason why. There were people on Twitter that were looking into what had happened to me, and a lot of them, they got to speak to a lot of people, by the way. RN Jesus and some woman named Vicky that I didn't know. Yeah. How was Sarah connected to the whole thing? Well, sadly, she has been blamed for a lot of things that she did not do because she thought she was helping her friends. She largely was misled by her friends. And she was largely misled by her friends to help. And then when it was all over and done with, they kind of abandoned her. And so did Bungie. When I got banned from Destiny, it seemed like a response to some of the things that had happened to her. People were asking questions on Twitter, and she, Sarah, and Goth were the only two people that would basically interact with these people publicly, and then they had to delete tweets and delete videos, because Sarah was the one that accidentally exposed the fact that Bungie corporate attorneys consulted them on how to approach this. So when I got banned, everybody assumed that it was her and Christopher Barrett. I have it on very good authority that it was not them, but they were blamed for it. What is a dev ban? It's when the developer contacts Steam and says, ban this person. So she gets blamed for that. She had nothing to do with it. Barrett had nothing to do with it. But they consistently get blamed for it. Her part in it was certainly there. She was very vocal. She was very much, wanting to see me, lose everything and be deplatformed. But she had nothing to do with my Destiny ban. And Bungie would never come out and say why they banned me, so they let her be the scapegoat, which is its own breed of cowardice. Christina with 29 months, thank you very much. Love you, Lone and family. I appreciate that, Christina. You won't be able to play Marathon? I have no idea. As far as I know, the person that dev banned me is no longer there, so I don't know if they would just ban me from other games. Barrett did not tweet the bye-bye thing when I got banned from Destiny, Eric. That's one thing that Upper Echelon got wrong. This is one of the reasons people think that her and Barrett were the reason that it happened, because Upper Echelon got the timeline wrong. Christopher Barrett sent that tweet when I was banned from Twitch. And because he got that wrong on the timeline, everybody went and blamed her. It also didn't help that they tried to falsely copyright claim his video, and that made things worse because they were reacting and trying to get it taken down. Can you say who banned you? According to the people who investigated it, According to the people who investigated it and actually spoke to former and current employees of Bungie, they believe that it was Luke Smith. I don't know. I've never seen any of the information. I didn't get to talk to any of the people they did. That's what they believed. I don't really care who it was. I don't care. I just know that it wasn't them. Yeah, they tried to copyright the video twice. That's correct. Thank you, Wired Rope, for 18 months. So, I've consistently asked, Twitch to look into the entire situation and to have a conversation and a dialogue with me, and they simply won't do it. So, it has always been my belief that they did it as a business favor, and it's like, at this point, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. Just give me my stuff back. They continue to try to claim that I'm out here attacking people. I'm not out here attacking people. I've never attacked anybody. I simply defended myself and told the truth. That's all I have ever done. All I have ever done is say, this is what happened, and I would like a full investigation to be done. That's all I've ever said. That's not the posture of a guilty person. That's not the posture of somebody who has anything to hide. I've said this for 4 years. So... yeah, Upper corrected it with the pinned comment, but homie, it's too late. People don't look at stuff like that. People don't look at that. People don't look at that. Can't you see them? No, a lot of people also spread that form of misinformation. They said, well, he could have sued. He could have sued. No, I couldn't have. At the time, I instantly lost my primary source of income. I lost roughly $5,000 a month in contracts that were immediately dissolved. And then I was making anywhere from 20 to 30 grand a month on Twitch at the time. And I lost that, and I was paying like a $1,500 retainer. It was like $1,500 or something like that. I was spending a couple $1,000s after it was all said and done, keeping a lawyer on retainer to essentially field my calls, emails, and they sent a couple cease and desists because people were brigading for me to lose everything. I also had my lawyer contact Twitch, and they wouldn't reply to him. He was basically like, please don't take action against the channel. We have evidence to, contest these claims being made, and they wouldn't react to him. That's why after 2 weeks, I got tired of waiting, and I went on the defense. Right? So... at that time, the lawyer said, when they took the Twitch channel, he says, you have a case. He says, you have a case. He's like, and you could sue. He's like, but you would run out of money. He's like, it would need to be a federal case because none of these people live in your state. He said, and the discovery process alone, he was like, you would run out of money. He's like, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's like, so unless you have a couple $100,000 just sitting around, he was like, you're going to basically empty your bank account and it'll never even make it to court. So I had to make the really difficult choice at that time to stop paying him a retainer fee and just start streaming on YouTube and start over. That was the decision I had to make. I had bills. I had a newly purchased house. I had a wife and 2 children. There was nothing I could do. There was no path for me to do anything legally. I had to essentially take my lumps and start over. And that's what I did. And then 7 months later, I got banned from Destiny because it was becoming clear that Bungie was involved in the entire thing. And so they banned me from the game. Because I think they were worried that content creators were going to start to say, yo, what the frick happened here? Because content creators and current and former employees were speaking with RNGesus, and he was being well informed on everything that had happened. And I think that made it up the food chain, and someone said, ban him. And then I could no longer play the game, which murdered my channel. I have a much larger channel. Well, not that much larger anymore, but at the time, this channel only had about 5,000 subscribers, and I primarily streamed on my main YouTube channel, and we were on our way to 50,000 subscribers. Well, once they banned me from Destiny, I could no longer cover the game. I could no longer play the game. I was not going to ban evade because then they could come from my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel was basically my last means of earning an income. And so I said, well, let's just switch to variety news coverage. And we spent a couple of months doing that, and it was terrible. I think we spent roughly 5 months trying variety coverage. It didn't work. And we had to move to this channel. It was a burn the ships moment. We said, we've got to move the live show to the smaller channel and start over. We came to this channel in September of 2021. We had about 5,000 subscribers, and I had to basically start all the way over. But they will have you convinced that, like, I'm this maniacal predator, liar, manipulator, and I've attacked these women and I've attacked these people. And it's like, I've done nothing but lose over and over and over again. Every single time the truth started to come out, I got attacked. Well, now, that's not happening anymore. That's not happening. Now the truth's coming out about these people, and you're seeing the type of people that they are. And there is more that will come out. And I will continue to tell you that the truth will one day win. It always does. And I've always stood resolute and held to that the truth will come out, and it continues to come out. PWH with a $20 super chat tip says, I came across your channel a year ago during the ABK stuff, and since then you've become part of my morning routine. You're the only creator I gladly support with views, subs, and donations, and no one can make me differ. I appreciate that very, very much. Ginger says, good morning. They've already proven that they lack any form of integrity. The truth always wins. Yeah. Always. And yeah, somebody said you just bought a house, the pressure. Yeah, I mean, I ended up, and still to this day, I have blood pressure issues, and the hospital couldn't figure out what it was. I had this enzyme that was like really high in my bloodstream, and they scanned everything, and the cardiologist was like, this was a stress-induced event. This was a stress-induced cardiac event. So I have since been, dealing with that as well. Michael Mooney with a 5-spot says, seems that Sony executives didn't do a proper job reviewing Bungie before the deal was completed. Well, but they internally handled a lot of this misconduct in 2021, and they swept a lot of it under the rug. So you can only see so much before you purchase a company, homie. You don't get to, pry into every core aspect of every email. Gorthisis with 25 months. The truth prevails. I'll continue to support you. All the love and support for you and your family. Keep being amazing. Thank you. And then Ginger Prime gifts a member. Thank you so much, Ginger. Oh, and that Gorthisis VIP will add to the count as well. I don't even know what I owe you guys at this point. What did we start at? Your one day is now. You have to correct Twitch and other public social media outlets. They can't do this to others. The incredibly frustrating thing this entire time is everything I've always done has always been viewed as combative and hateful and maniacal. And it's like, I want you to just take a split second and I want you to consider something. If you think I'm a liar, if you've believed all this, if you're right now hate watching, just seething that I still have a platform and I'm still out here saying all this, just do a thought experiment. Just take 2 seconds and be like, what if he's telling the truth? Just think about that. All of my behavior makes sense if I'm telling the truth. If they were telling the truth, do you know what men do when they're exposed for stuff like that? They tuck tail and run. They disappear. They vanish. They don't stand resolute in the public and say as many times as they can, these things are not true. I have facts. I have evidence. Please do an investigation. Please. Have you ever seen a guilty man do that? Have you ever seen a man that's a predator do that? No. They tuck tail and run and they disappear. My actions don't make sense in any other context. My posture, my willingness to speak about it, my willingness to answer questions, my pleading with the press to please cover this. You want to ask me questions and interview me? Do it. You wouldn't do that if you were this horrible, awful, guilty person. You'd leave and you'd run. If you take 2 seconds and really consider what if he's telling the truth, then my actions don't seem like combative and maniacal. My actions make sense like this is a desperate man trying to get justice. Pat Puck with the 50 spot. Genuinely wish you nothing but more success and a long, healthy life. I've been here since the purple platform, and we've even played D2 once. Best of love. Thank you, Pat Puck. I appreciate that. And a gifted member from Melrose Mike. Thank you very much, Melrose Mike. If I'm just a liar and a manipulator, then I should go get a job in Hollywood to maintain my story and my position on this and the timeline of events. I can only do that if I'm telling the truth. You could never keep this up this long. You wouldn't be able to. You'd go crazy. You'd lose your mind. You'd never be able to keep it all straight, as they can't. It's why they won't talk about it. It's why they won't answer questions. It's why when they did start answering questions in the beginning of 2021, they had to delete tweets. It's why tweets and timelines have disappeared, because they can't keep it all straight, because they have lied. I should be in politics. Yeah, well. TRM15 with 29 months. Just watched True Vanguard's video. So much misinformation. Yes, he continues to say things about me that are not true. He continues to spread lies about me. And according to his own beliefs, that's not a very good idea. Mickle Truesdale says, I found your coverage literal weeks before your exile from Purple. Your honesty and integrity is what led me to trust you at the outset. Well, I appreciate that. There is something that I have that none of my detractors have. And I'll still have it in 2 years, 3 years. I'll still have it in 10 years, and they won't. I have the truth on my side. I have evidence on my side. All they have are smarmy remarks and insults. And yeah, don't listen to him. Don't listen to his cult. Do you want to know what's happening? People from outside the influence of those Destiny content creators in that Destiny community, everybody outside of that is getting a clear look at this. And they can see who's telling the truth, and they can see who's got the evidence and the facts on their side. And that's going to keep happening. That's going to keep happening. I just have to wait. You can keep clinging to falsehood and lies. You can keep clinging to that. It just continues to weaken with age, because there's nothing resolute about lies. The truth doesn't have an expiration date. I've got everything saved. I've got receipts. I've got clips. I've got tweets. I've got it all. And all you've got are obfuscation and insults. And just keep praying that more truth doesn't come out about people that did bad and did wrong. Just keep praying that it stays in the dark. Severin Evans with 7 months says, if anything we have shown is that Bungie has been nothing but a poison for PlayStation and very bad investment. I would tend to agree with you. Thank you for 7 months. Roll your D with $5 super chat. Took food out of your family's mouth with their actions, and that's the most disgusting part about it. They affected your family and their well-being. Yeah, I wish Upper Echelon wouldn't have messed up the tweet from Christopher Barrett. I wish he wouldn't have messed that up. That hurts his video, but the video is quite good in doing that, Ginger. You shouldn't take this on alone. You have your health and privacy and your family to consider. If you want to move on, you gotta respect, I'm sure, people are crazy in social media. I don't have the luxury to move on. I don't have the luxury to move on. When it comes up, I'm going to stand in the public and say the truth. And I won't shy away from it. I won't shy away from saying that these people should correct the public record. A couple of tweets from some of these people could potentially change my life. All they have to say is, we misrepresented things. We embellished things. We said things that weren't true. You know? He's not a predator. Couple of tweets from people who know that they went too far and who know that they embellished and lied. All they have to do is do that. It could change my entire life. If people are like, oh my gosh. I think that's too hard for them. I think that's too difficult. I think too many favors were traded and too much mud would start flinging if they did that. Fozzie with 33 months. Hope all is well. After seeing the news yesterday, I was wondering if it was the same dude that married the girl from the community. She's not the one that started all of this. No, she became the central figure for it because everybody else went quiet about it and they all stopped talking about it because they knew they were caught. They knew they were caught in a lie, and she was the only one that kept talking, but she wasn't at the center of it. That's the other thing I think people need to understand, too. Like, if someone comes out and makes a claim and makes an accusation, and the person comes out and says, that's not true, and the person says, well, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And the person accused keeps saying, that's not true. That's not true. Please do an investigation. Like, who do you think's telling the truth? Have you ever known anybody to do that? They just make the accusation, and then they never talk about it ever again. They're like, no, I refuse to talk about it. I don't want to answer questions about it. I'm just going to move on. It was too traumatic to have a joke told to me 4 years ago that I said at the time didn't bother me. It's too traumatic to talk about that. No, I pursued legal action and couldn't afford it. Can you even account for the growth trajectory that you were on? No. Halfway through 2020, I had already earned more than I made in 2019. There's absolutely no way to even... The amount of money that I lost is absolutely staggering. It's staggering. And it is literally because of a handful of tweets and embellished stories and made up stories. That's all it took. That's all it took. And nobody from that side will ever agree to an investigation. They'll never agree to answer any questions about it. They won't, because they can't keep it all straight. They can't. Do you want to know why they didn't want Twitch to investigate it? Because it would have been impossible to keep it all straight. It would have been obvious that something was wrong, that something was amiss. Pro bono this case? You understand how incredibly difficult that would be? No one's going to pro bono this, homie. The amount of work it would take to do this case, it would take years, brother. You're talking like 3 to 5 years to even get any movement or traction at all. There's no way. I hope better things come for your family. I appreciate that, Russell Stewart. I mean, we are on a great trajectory on YouTube. We really are. We really are. We're on a great trajectory on YouTube. My concern has always been, I don't want revenge. I've always said, please don't attack people. Please don't go after people. I've always said, I just want the truth to come out. I want the public records to be corrected. That's all I've ever wanted. And then when that happens, I want Twitch and Bungie to do the right thing. That's all I've ever wanted. Court costs are tens of thousands. There's no pro bono here. And sue who? None of these people have anything. Yeah, I mean, the most money we would get would be from like the guys that run the organization. But it's just like, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to sue anybody. I don't want to take anything from anyone. I just want my stuff back. I want what I built to be given back to me. It was unjust. That's all I've ever wanted. It's like, I don't want to take anything from anybody. I don't want anybody deplatformed unless, of course, they're guilty of misconduct. A $10 super chat from A's in the Merce. Based on the exchange on X, it looks like some people are willing to see your side. The people who refuse to see it keep referencing your initial apology, but they're getting some pushback. Yes, because anybody who cites my apology continue to say the same thing to them. Where in his apology does he admit to anything? They won't be able to answer you because they either haven't watched it or they've completely forgotten. Just ask them. Where in the apology did he do? What did he admit to in the apology? Just ask them that. It's a very simple question. What did he admit to? What? Okay. What did he say didn't happen? Like, those are very important questions. Looks like KG's washed his hands of the situation. Yeah. Can't wash dirty hands, brother. Can't wash dirty hands. Stories will come out someday. They always do. But you don't get to just have full investigations because you want them, unfortunately. And no matter how much you say it, they don't have to comply until they are sued. Here's my point, J-Cal. They don't have to comply. That's fine. That's what Twitch should have done. Twitch should have come to me and did a thorough investigation. They should have asked me questions. They should have asked for my evidence, right? And they should have done the same thing with all of them. Like, hey, if you guys are going to use your Twitch channels to accuse this man, all right, we got to do this in a formal way. We got to do this in a formal way. And if they wouldn't comply, well, then that's all you need to know. They're not complying. They don't want to answer questions. They don't want to get caught in the lie. And then, guess what? I would have kept my channel. And I would have said, hey, Twitch looked into everything. And they're taking no action. They only took action because I put out a video that proved people lied, and then I got retaliated against. Somebody called in a favor. It was clear. That's what the Chris Barrett tweet is about. That's why this happening to him is related to what happened to me. It's all tied together. It's like this guy took credit for me losing my primary source of income, and he just got outed as an actual predator. He consistently used his platform to call me a predator. Turns out he's the one. You're the man. As he says to King David, you're the man. Not me. I wasn't in a position of power over anybody in 2017 and 2018. I was nobody of significance in 2017, 2018. I got invited to events because I was one of the community members that was involved in stuff, but I wasn't some person of prominence. I wasn't running an organization. I wasn't running a conference. I wasn't able to hand out favors. Who was? That's what you should be asking. Who was in a position to give favors back then? It wasn't me. Aster Cross's video is full of pro Lono comments from randoms. All you need to do is gauge what the community thinks of the situation. I hope more content creators come out and say, you know what? I believe this guy. I think this entire situation was a joke. Because, listen, nobody would do that in the past. I've had a lot of people reach out to me privately and say they believed my side, but they obviously couldn't say anything for fear of retaliation. Dude, if you've ever seen a toothless dog before, Bungie has no bite anymore. They've been whooped. They are absolutely not in a position to do anything to you. They can't touch you. Come out and say it. Like, let people know this was a joke. Your little small circle that wants to still say, well, I believe my friends and he's a bad guy. Yeah, let him do that. Let him do that as the rest of the public sees the truth and is like, yeah, right. A 20 bomb from MASH. The man himself. The man himself. Let them cling to lies. Let them do it. If that's what they want to do with their platforms, let them. There are plenty of people who had no idea who I was and had no reason to side with me, and they looked into this and they said this man is not guilty of what they claimed. This dude made a couple of bad jokes or a couple of social faux pas, and he had his life destroyed. It doesn't make any sense. When you have a person in a position of power who you feel you have no recourse against, like, I don't know, someone at Bungie who was, preying on his subordinates, that's somebody that needs to be outed, not somebody who's just like at a party with fellow friends and makes an off-color joke. Assume Parasite with a VIP. The crap only rolls down here from here. Thank you very much. And then another 10 takes us to 94. Another 10 from MASH. MASH is just insane. MASH is a madman. I think the internet could do without all these internet sleuths and detectives that make these documentary videos and it's post info. Find out if it's factual later. I I wonder what this button does. A VIP from my man Mash. Gets us 5 away from that weekly goal to turn Friday night into community game night. Thank you, Mash. What did you say to get banned? I did an hour-long video with a 41-page document with receipts and evidence that proved that they lied, and I was retaliated against, and they took my Twitch channel. And 7 months later, when, not me, RNJesus and this other person on Twitter started looking in what happened to me, and they realized that I was conspired against and lied about when that happened, I got banned from Destiny. Every single time the truth was attempting to come to light, I was retaliated against. Have you ever seen that before in your life? It's like, well, this guy tried to come out and defend himself and tell the truth, got banned. Oh man, these people were investigating this situation and they were finding out that like Bungie was involved, gets banned from Destiny. How much clearer do you have to see what happened? Like, it's as clear as day. If you can't look at that and see, well, that smells awful funny. Every time this guy tried to talk about it and bring the truth to light, he was attacked and lost a way of earning money. Didn't Goth say if he would have stayed silent, it would have gone away? Yeah, I've got a clip of him saying that even recently. He admitted, he's like, he didn't get banned because of the accusations. He got banned because of how he reacted. He said that. I saved the clip because I think it's damning for him to admit that. Belphegor with the 5-bomb, Jimiford with the 5-bomb, Rob B with the 5-bomb, and Mash with the 5-bomb. G money. And now you guys can head towards the stretch goal. Madam has actually been playing Destiny on Friday nights when you guys hit the stretch goal. Yeah, he said that recently. So I saved the clip. I'm like, that's pretty damning to basically admit and to say, oh, he didn't get banned because of the accusations. He got banned because of how he reacted. Now, he falsely represented it because he doesn't tell the truth. He's also very dishonest. He said that I attacked people's wives and went after people. And it's like, no, I didn't. I put together a video where I calmly sat and showed you they were not telling the truth. Proving that somebody lied is not attacking them. That's some weird internal misogyny going on right there. It's like, just because they're women doesn't mean you can't point out that they've lied about something. They're not protected from that. That's members this week. This includes Member Plus and VIP renewals. So if you guys upgrade to Member Plus or a VIP, it counts toward this. Right now, if you're one of the people paying for your own membership or you're on a gifted membership, consider bumping up. It's $6 and we're going on like we have a really big milestone that we're trying to hit, and you can help us with that. This is literally just renewals and gifteds. So this is always rotating. We want that Member Plus and above to go up. That's our big push right now. 3 months from A's in the Merce. So what do you suggest Bungie or Sony do with Marathon? I think they need to cancel it. I think it's a lost cause at this point. I think they're going to lose tons of money on it. They'll lose more than they already got. They'll lose more than they already have. Their side is very truth averse. And they also label everything as harassment whenever you present them with the truth. Yeah, getting asked questions on Twitter, they claim they were being harassed. It's like, listen, you can come into my stream right now, ask me any question you want. I'll answer you. I will. I will. I've never once been like, hey, you can't ask me about that. It's like, their entire protective cocoon is if you ask them about the stuff that they've said, they'll just claim that they're being harassed. At the time, there was a guy out there saying, if I see you asking for evidence, he's like, I'll make sure that you never get work in this industry. They were basically threatening anybody that wanted to look into the situation. Basically like, look, if you want to be a content creator, you better not ask for evidence. He's like, I'll make sure you never get work in this industry. Like, that's the kind of stuff that was going on. Like, does that sound legitimate to you? Does that sound like a bunch of people who just had to get the truth out and just had to expose this dangerous guy? No, they were all in on it together. It was like, don't ask for evidence. And they kept saying testimony is evidence. No, testimony under scrutiny and cross-examination is evidence. You just going to Twitter and saying something isn't evidence. It's only evidence when it's actually submitted through a court. Like, go sign an affidavit so that you can be cross-examined. Do you want to do that? Do you want to perjure yourself? Get caught saying something that's not true? That's when testimony is considered evidence, not your twit longer. Like, what a joke. Welfare Rockstar with 26 months. I hate digging into the conflict, but would you do a one-on-one interview with Tassie in a way where you can supply evidence, or with a moderator? Homie, I have always said that I welcome investigation. I'll give you all my evidence. I'll give you my document. I've said that for 4 years. I've said that for 4 years. Is there anybody? Is there an outlet? Is there an investigative outlet with the stones to actually look into this? Do it. Is there a YouTuber outside of Upper Echelon with the stones to look into this? Do it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do an interview with a bad faith actor. Someone that's just going to make a hit piece on me or make me look bad. I'm not doing that. I would measure the integrity of, like, okay, is this a legitimate outlet? Is this person legitimate? Like, do they have a pattern of giving a fair shake to somebody? Like, if it's just somebody that wants to, like, farm the drama, no, I'm not doing that. Yo, Nerd Mother with 34 months, thank you so much. CoffeeZilla's pretty good. Yeah, but he investigates scams. See, that's the biggest problem is most of the guys that would take the time to properly investigate it to make like a really, really good video, like, they're not going to want to look into this because I'm just small time. Like, they look into like the big time stuff because they have to earn a living, right? Those guys spend a lot of time on those videos. They got to earn some money. They can't do like some small time guy, you know, I'm basically a nobody now. So, like, they're not going to do it. They're not going to look into it. If they wanted to, I would 100% cooperate if somebody of that caliber looked into the situation. Because everybody always dismisses Upper Echelon. They're like, oh, yeah, that guy's a conspiracy theorist. He's a nut. And it's like, I don't agree with that. But I also think if we could get somebody that was more, like, neutral to look at everything and to say, these are the facts. This should be rectified. You're small time at Twitch and Bungie. I mean, I suppose that could be the catalyst to get somebody of size to want to actually look in it and report on it, to be like, well, you know, I get to talk about Bungie, and Bungie's been in the crosshairs and the headlines a lot lately, you know. I can't imagine somebody that could actually get if they could actually get people to speak anonymously to them, right? You know, actually get contacts at Bungie to speak to them, current and former employees, because RN Jesus was able to do that. He was able to get current and former employees to speak with him, and he was heavily convinced that this thing went all the way to the top. That this was a very, very large scale connected thing. It wasn't just like a couple of people that were like, we don't like that guy. So whoever, you know, if anybody picks it up, they'd want to try to collaborate with RN Jesus because he's has everything saved. I just subscribed you because I quit Destiny after almost 7,000 hours. Now finding this out makes me side with Upper Echelon and you even more. Well, I appreciate that. The evidence is overwhelming. You took a couple shots and you missed, and they were jealous, so they did you dirty. I made an analogy this morning that if somebody went to their HR department and said, well, I would like to file a complaint against this man, and they said, okay, what happened? And they said, well, 4 years ago he made a joke. And they say, okay, and what? How did you respond? Did you let them know that you didn't appreciate the joke and ask them to stop? And they would say, well, no, it didn't bother me at the time. Oh, well, then why are you filing this report? Oh, well, because he just got a promotion. He's more successful than me. That's quite literally what happened to me. It was, well, he made a joke or a remark 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't tell him that it was a problem. I didn't indicate to him that that was an issue, and we remained friends after that. Didn't bother me at the time. Okay, well, why are you bringing this to light now? Oh, because he's always at the top of the directory. Somebody has to do something. You know, he got verified on Twitter. He's got all this great stuff now. I'm reevaluating that joke. That's crazy. You have to see. You have to see how insane it is. That, like, people quite literally said, in view of the public. I got one of them to admit publicly that the joke didn't bother them. They're like, yeah, it didn't bother me at the time. Then what are we talking about? You don't get to retroactively claim, I have a problem with that joke now 4 years later. What? Like, what does that even mean? What does that mean exactly? Well, yeah, and I wasn't allowed to apologize. That's right. The situation in 2018 on the bus, it's like you send this super long email. It's hard for me to even make sense of the email because what happened was like 2 seconds. It was like, okay, so you're this upset over that, okay, but I'm not allowed to apologize. But then, and again, because that person consistently lies, and a lot of people in that community know it, then goes to the public and said, I just refuse to do the right thing. That's a lie. I tried to apologize and you wouldn't let me. You just get to hold me hostage for forever because I acted weird? That's interesting, isn't it? It's like, well, you told everybody that I refused to do the right thing. You wouldn't let me apologize. You quite literally said in the email I was not allowed to. That doesn't make any sense. That's not sane behavior. That doesn't make any sense. There's no logic or rhyme or reason to that. So for all these men to be like, well, I believe my friends and, you know, they came to us, they confided us and we really believe them. It's like, well, I don't understand. This all happened years ago and nobody had a problem. Nobody said anything. And then the one person that did was like, yeah, you're not allowed to apologize. Huh? Oh, and he refused to do the right thing. What? I was consistently trying to do the right thing and nobody would talk to me. Nobody would say anything. So, that's just more false narratives. Deafside with 32 months. It's funny that to this day, some of Lono's ideas are still getting put into the game. Thank you. The brother was struggling and this person took it as an advance. You acted weird. And I drugged you. Right. Keep doing that truth mashing. Thanks, Sheriff Bruce Lee, for the $5 super chat. Am I correct to assume that you knew about Barrett for a while? I did not have concrete info on him, no. But I knew there were people guilty of misconduct at Bungie and that they were being protected. I knew it. I'm not going to give away all my cards, but I know a lot. I know a lot, and that's why I keep telling people, it'll come out. It'll come out. Just wait. And I'm not going to be the one to do it because it'll just be dismissed as, oh, he's just a conspiracy theorist and he's just on a vengeance kick. Uh-huh. And then they would be somewhat set free from it. It's like, I'm not going to be an agent of your freedom. I'm not going to expose the truth about you. I'll let it come out on its own, and I'll let you live under that threat. That's an act of justice anyway. All these people that lied have had to live with their lies, and they have to live under the threat of the truth coming out. Imagine what that's been like these last 4 years. Every day scared that it might come out. Is it Jimmy Shaker Day, right? Like, every day they have to live under that fear. I'm not going to come out in here and be like, well, let me tell the stories because it would just be dismissed. And then that would be an agent of their freedom. They'd be like, whew, it's finally out in the open and it came from Lono, so everybody's dismissing it. No. A $5 super chat from Danaheim. We hear more bad news than good news about this game. We still have no gameplay. And if I even want to see the vision now, truly their judgment day. It's crazy how these people can smile with you and have a great time and stab you in the back. Well, yeah. The person that said you acted weird dosed you, right? Yes. I was unfamiliar with what high concentrate THC was. I didn't know what that was. I also didn't even know how to use the vape. They had to show me how to use it. And I had an incredibly bad reaction. And when we got back, like, my neck was sweating. My knees felt like they were buckling. You know, I was, like, rubbing my legs because they were, like, buzzing. And I asked them to keep an eye on me. And I acted weird, and they claimed that it was harassment and assault. They also told everybody that would listen to the story, and they said that they joked about it. Because people that go through really traumatic experiences, that's what they do. They spread the story to anybody who will listen, and they joke about it. Right? They really had to let the truth out. It was really traumatic for them. Maybe one day they'll tell the real story and they'll out the real guy. Maybe. Because we just saw one outed yesterday. So, maybe one day they'll decide to tell the truth. And then people will say, oh my gosh, Lona was telling the truth. Like many of you have done. And yesterday, I had a lot of people say, oh wow, this really adds a lot of credence to what he said. This really calls into question everything that's happened. Like, they got off scot-free for drugging you. That should be a big deal. I was encouraged to press charges about that, and I did not. That's not what I want. Release the apology video to negate any hearsay? But the apology video is everywhere. It's available. It's like, I don't need to re-release or publish that. I also don't need to re-release or publish the hour-long defense video, because when I released that video, that was in July. It was 2 weeks after they said everything. Like, I think it was like June 19th where they said everything, and like 2 weeks later I published my video. I think it was like a Thursday when I published my video. I believe it was July 2nd. I, at that time, still could not see what the Rare Drop guys had said. I'm pretty sure this is the culprit at the Charlie Steakhouse. Yeah, it'd be really interesting if that story ever came to light, as well as all of the DMs that preceded it. Like I said, I would survive a discovery process. They would not. Because when an official investigation happens, you find out who the real predators are. And I would say EP82 is really onto something. But when I released that video, I hadn't even seen what the Rare Drop guys had said. I wish I would have seen everything the first night. I didn't. Like, they all blocked me, so I couldn't see anything. And I had to shut down all my apps because I was trending in North America, and so I had to close DMs. I had to shut DMs on Instagram. Like, it was even difficult to use the apps because, like, every time I would open it, I would get inundated with notifications. And so I didn't even get to address what they claimed. Because if I would have seen, I think I would have been very quick. I think that's part of the reason that they blocked me. Right? I think I would have very clearly seen something else is going on here. Right? If I would have seen them saying he stole a badge and he snuck into areas, I'd have been like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? Something is amiss here. I didn't see those claims for like 7 months. Now, EP82, your original instinct about Charlie's is correct. So, we just need people to, come out and expose it. And it won't be me. So, It took me 7 months to even get the fullest picture of what had happened because I was not aware that they had done that. I was like, wait. I was like, what? Like, I... Sounds like you became the scapegoat. If you read the super long Medium post about me and you understand the true scope of what has happened, you will see it as transference. You'll see it as transference. Because my exchange with the person, it doesn't make sense why they are just spewing so much anger and vitriol at me. It doesn't make sense. Right? It's like when somebody's having a bad day and you like slightly bump into them and they explode at you and you're like, whoa, what's going on? Like they're not that upset that you bumped into them. They're just kind of like a powder keg. That's what that Medium post is. That's what it is. It's like there was a real instance and there was a person in power that they didn't feel that they could cross. And they exchanged favors for silence, which means you can't say anything now because you're just as guilty. So in that context, I think that's why it's like, I don't think anybody feels like they can come forward because they feel like, you know, if I come forward, then I'm going to be, you know, condemned as well. I feel like the climate's very different now. I feel like people would be receptive to, you weren't the person in the position of power. They were, you know. Yeah, you did a bad thing. You did a real bad thing. But I still think there would be far more... I think the public would be a lot more gracious about it than people think. If they came forward and said, this is what really happened, I actually think people would be far more receptive to it. I think they're just, you know, living underneath that fear, I think, has got to be terrible. Yeah, it's more than just that, Sven. There was a bunch of stuff leading up to it. Karma gets us all in the end. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. One of the things I've always hoped would happen, because I know Dan Clancy at Twitch has indicated like they wanted to look into some of the people that had been banned, right? And I think with the recent developments at Bungie, I really think they could help me significantly. Like Twitch could really help me simply by just giving me the channel back. That's all I need. Just give me the channel back. That would send a loud and clear message that like, this is behind us now. And I think that's all that would really need to happen. I don't really even care about Destiny. I don't really care about that. That's not even on the list of things that I would want to have happen. That's like pretty far down on the list. Talk to them. I have tried. I can't get anybody to talk to me. That's what's been probably... I think the single most frustrating thing about it is just not being able to talk to anybody about it. It's like, can you just talk to me? Level with me here. What in the world? You know? Thank you, Brett. I like you here. We wouldn't switch to Twitch, by the way, guys. You know, my wife said, wouldn't mind it if Purple would pay you. The last month they didn't pay you for. I felt like they did, but I don't know. I don't know how it works. Yo, thank you for the coffee order. Assume Parasite, I appreciate that. I would not leave YouTube if I got my Twitch channel back, no. We would figure out a way to use the channel, you know, once a week, do a show or something over there. I don't know. Maybe that's where we would just go to do, no, Not day one gameplay. Like, we would do day one gameplay here, but maybe if I want to keep playing something, we would just do it over there. Just to keep a presence. You know? I would not leave here. No. I always wanted to know why you ended your multiple part series explaining what happened to you. I remember you ended it before really going into what happened involving Bungie and Twitch. Okay, no, that's a fair question. So the reason that we ended, and a lot of people say like I cut my hair to hide or whatever, which is hilarious because I did like a 9-part series on my main channel called the Say No to Rage story, and the thumbnail is literally a picture of me with short hair. So those people are insane. Like, do you honestly think I cut my hair thinking that people wouldn't know it was me? Like, as I freely talk about it, if anybody asks about it, like, Jiminy Christmas. If I tried to pretend it wasn't me and wouldn't talk about it, maybe you'd have a case. Anyways. The reason that we stopped doing that series is because it wasn't productive. We were not getting the exposure to it that we wanted. We wanted people to pick up the story and take an interest in it, and all I was really doing was publishing videos to the people who were already on my side, and that was it. Now, I think some of the mistake we made back then, Creature might have to correct me if I'm wrong here. My memory is that I didn't want to monetize the videos, and I think if that's correct, if that's correct, I don't know if we did that with those videos. I know with a handful of videos that I published over there, I didn't want to monetize the videos on the principle of, like, I didn't monetize my apology video. I didn't monetize my truth with significant evidence video. I didn't monetize them. I did not want to make money off of that. And because everybody always said, oh yeah, he's monetizing it. I never monetize that stuff. Well, the problem with YouTube is if you don't monetize something, it doesn't get exposure. It doesn't get shown to people. So I think my principles on telling the Say No to Rage story, I think I hurt myself a little bit. Like, it might have gotten picked up and gotten some traction if I had monetized the videos. But we got to like number 9 and I was like, I just don't think anybody cares. I just don't think anybody cares. I think the people that care are here, and the people that have made up their mind about me aren't going to change their mind through a video. So we put a stop to it. And then a couple months later, we rebranded, and I was like, we just got to leave that era of my life behind me. It just isn't productive. And we've just kind of trusted over the years that when it does get drummed up and it does come up, we will always hold firm on the truth. I will always hold firm on that people should correct the public record and admit that they lied. And that would, help me significantly. And that it would help them significantly. I think some of these people are very damaged, and secrets make you sick. That's something that my therapist has always said. Secrets make you sick, and you're only as sick as your secrets. And so I think a lot of people could have a lot of freedom. Just do it. Just spill your guts. Just do it. Hit the button and just start it. Once you pull on the thread, it'll all come out. And I'm telling you right now, they would feel way better. It's like at the end of The Machinist, when he finally gets to go to sleep and lay down because he finally admits what he did. Every 6 months it gets drummed up and we all get triggered. Yeah. So I've always just maintained that, like, listen, I'm always willing to subject myself to investigation. I'm always willing to subject myself to discovery, or like if a reporter wanted to talk to me, right? We again would make sure that it was worth our while. I'm not going to talk to some bad actor that's going to make me look bad. He made a video. Crowded House said, True Vanguard disappoints me. He claims to be a Christian, and he made a video yesterday saying you admitted to doing everything. He's lying. That if he said that in his video, that is indeed a lie. That's a willful lie. That's willful deception. And as he continues to judge me, he, according to his own beliefs, will be judged in the same manner. So he should really reconsider, according to his own beliefs, what he's doing. He should tell the truth and stop spreading lies about me. In fact, according to his own beliefs, This is me rebuking him to his face. He should stop lying and tell the truth. So, community note? Yeah, I mean, we can certainly try and get a community note on the video if he's saying things about me that are not true. So, someone needs to investigate your poor hair choice before. I'm fairly sure that's a federal crime. Come on, MASH. Come on. Yeah, bearing false witness is a pretty severe thing. So, bearing false witness is a pretty severe thing. Yo, what's good, Wooly? I'm at work, but chuffed to bits for you. Hey, man. He said you admitted to everything and then flip-flopped. That's a lie. That is not true. When he says that, he's willfully lying. He can watch the apology videos. He can. He can. When I was in a state of duress and my life was falling down around me, I only apologized for inappropriate remarks, and I said that no harassment or assault took place. I did not admit to everything. I hadn't even seen all of the claims at that point. He is lying when he says that. Willfully lying. He's not been uninformed. He can watch the videos. He can inform himself. It's interesting, isn't it? Isn't it interesting how the people that are still against me and still want to maintain the things against me, why do they have to lie? Don't you think that's interesting? Have I gotten caught in a lie in the 4 years I've talked about this? No. In the last 24 hours, one of the main people that were kind of brigading for me to lose everything and to be completely deplatformed, out there doing the same thing. Just lying to the public about me. That's an interesting choice. That's an interesting choice. He's choosing to stay uninformed so that he doesn't have to face the fact that his friends have played him. Well, if he's never watched the apology videos, speaking falsely about them is still dishonest. If he's watched the apology videos, then he is willfully deceiving the public. Neither of those is excusable. So, he should reconsider his course of action. And you guys know that I have been a Christian for 4 years now, and I would call him to live in the light and to be a truth teller, and then ask for forgiveness. And if he does not do that, then there's a whole lot of things that the scriptures say about that. So, to refuse to repent is a big deal. We good? We're good. What if track with me here? The whole group was complicit in something far worse, and for fear of being outed, they keep sticking to your cancellation simply out of fear. Somebody said that he owes you an apology. He responded with, he owes his friends an apology. I mean, I attempted to apologize to each and every one of them. One of them received the apology and then later misrepresented everything and lied. and only showed half of the DM conversation. So she completely misrepresented that. Everybody else I tried to. Nobody would talk to me. 5-bomb from Happy Raging Matt. Thank you very much. In my experience, when somebody brings something up like that and then is once again dishonest, I think that that speaks very loud and clear about them. So, yo, Cody with a month of memberships, he openly mocked your apology with a fake voice and all. I think that that shoe fits, doesn't it? Bearing false witness, mockery, dishonesty. I think that shoe fits. I feel like I'm watching the HBO Chernobyl series. It kept covering what the cost of lies is. Right. Yeah. It makes me realize what a good dude Mike, 30 and Still Gaming, is. He stuck by you through the whole thing. Let's not vilify mocking Lono. That's half my routine here. Hey, another order of coffee from Lethal Escape. Guys, you may not realize this. We brought back the coffee. We have the light and the dark roast. It was originally called Rageless Roast. It's now called Reforge Roast. You can go to reforgeroast.com. It supports me. It supports my family. My wife and kiddos bag it up and ship it to you. We got another. Looks like Lethal Escape. Did you mean to order two different orders here? So that's a great way to support. One of the best ways to support is to hit subscribe, hit the bell button, and hit that like button. Let's get 500 likes, and you guys should come back to the daily shows, to the daily content. I know a lot of you come around when the Bungie stuff or the Destiny stuff gets churned up. We really are doing the same thing we've always done, man. We hang out every day, and we have great conversations. We have a really good time here. If you are one of the paying members, or if you're considering doing a paying membership, we are running a milestone right now, man. Hit Member Plus or VIP. Upgrade from that standard membership tier. We're wanting people to kind of jump out of the gifted member bucket. It makes room for other people to get a gifted membership in the future instead of the same people every single month. Right now, we're at 521 people at Member Plus and above, and we're shooting for the next milestone to be 600. I actually did an IRL stream over the weekend on Saturday when I got back from coaching my kiddos' soccer teams, and I just did an IRL stream in the backyard with Member Plus and above. So you get more content, you get extra content. If we get to 1,000 people at Member Plus and above, I have to do a PC building stream. So keep doing that, keep upgrading. It supports me, it supports the channel. We are obviously still very much rebuilding. I'm still not back to where I was. We are very much on a trajectory of getting there. And, you know, we're hoping to hit 50,000 subscribers on the channel very soon. That'll be a significant milestone as well. Yeah. I'll tell you not for nothing, says Jesse. This guy would be wasted as a one-game streamer. Such great insight and content. Thank you. EP82 jumps back in as a member. Thank you very much. Thanks, Melrose Mike. Thanks for hanging out. All right, Lono, I'm back. Just make sure if you are paying for your own membership, there's the $5 member tier. We really want everybody at the $6 tier and up. There's Member Plus and there's VIP. That $5 tier is really reserved for gifted memberships. I can't track you as a paying member unless you do that, like unless you jump into Member Plus or VIP. So that's why it's only $1 more. Yeah, I mean, Dauntless is privately asking me about my faith. I grew up in and around it for a very, very long time. And interestingly enough, what happened in 2018 triggered me getting into therapy. And it led to a series of events which led to me coming back to the faith. And I never wanted to make that a part of any of my content or a part of any of my defense, because I didn't want people to make a mockery of what I believe. So I never really talked about it. But when they torched my life, I had quite literally just put it back together. And I had to just kind of keep that part of my life private because I knew what they would do with it. So I've not talked about that very much. There it is, EP82 upgrade. When you guys upgrade, it adds to the total as well. So thank you very much. Thank you for that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. I don't think I would have made it through 2020 on my own. So yeah, but I never wanted to make that a part of it. Like, I always thought to myself, man, if these people only knew, like, I had spent 2 years kind of putting myself back together and living a better life and getting on a good path, and then they were like, this guy is the devil, and I was like, what? Like, it was extremely difficult. So yeah. Black Myth Wukong mods are out. You can give them a lightsaber. I just want a performance patch for the PlayStation, man. As I said this morning, we don't know what other people are going through. Yeah. Crowquill says, I always had a feeling that you were saved in the way that you compose yourself and approach this. I think the thing that I've always been shocked by is how people talk about that. Like, it's been inspiring to watch you go through this and the way you've handled it. I'm like, oh, this has sucked. What are you talking about? This has not been fun. Yeah, I tried to do a series about my spiritual journey, and we decided not to do that. Yeah. Alex at the 5 spot, thank you very much. 5:26 on the day. So, yeah. The best performance patch for the PlayStation is the 4090. You're built different. True strength and integrity. Truth is on your side. You know, I'll say it this way. The way that I've experienced it all is, you know, I would say I'm pretty weak and I'm pretty frail, and I just held firm on things I knew that wouldn't move. I was like, just hold on to the truth. You know, hold on to your faith. Hold on to your family. You know, these are things that won't move. These are things that will endure. You know, there were moments in 2020 and 2021, like, I feel like I was like barely hanging on. You know. So, yeah. That's when people are like, man, you're so strong and so resilient. I'm like, I sure didn't feel like that. I sure didn't feel like that. What are you planning to do for your PC? I don't know. I was going to let Creature pick everything out. AOZ with a 5 spot. Thank you so much, AOZ. You're stronger than you think. Yeah, I mean, keep fighting the fight. Thank you. Lesser things have killed me. I could feel that from you. Honestly, it was hard to watch. Yeah, I think basically all of 2021 and a lot of 2022, I wanted to quit. I wanted to walk away from the whole thing. I didn't really have a choice. There was no option for me to provide for my family any other way. So I had to just keep going. I had to just keep pushing, you know. A little rowboat's just trying to get ashore, you know. And we've talked about it a bit. We've had a lot of burn the ships moments. It was like we had to delete 13 million views worth of content. I had to move my live show to a small channel, and we weren't sure if it was going to work. Yo, Magor Magoogle, that's an old school name right there, VIP. That's my man. We had a lot of burn the ships moments of like, we've got to do this, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, there's been numerous times where we're like, if this doesn't work, we've got to hang it up and call it quits. And that's, you know, that'll make a man out of you. I'll tell you that much right now. Like, I look at the videos back when all this started, and when I look at myself, I look like a boy. I look like a boy. Like, man, just this damaged, frail dude that was just like trying to keep his head above the water. Telling you what, you face down the barrel of like, everything might fail and dissolve into nothing, and just let's do it. Let's be men of action. That'll make a man out of you, dude. That'll put hair on your chest. Deleting 13 million views worth of content, and that'll really yeah. That'll do it. Trial by fire, man. You either get consumed by it or you're made stronger by it. Good night. I was talking about cutting a baby. Oh, yeah, Solomon. Yeah, funny enough, we just recently hit over 13 million views on this channel. And we're on our way to being at the sub count we had. Did anybody else say it? Just one woman in the Vanguard vid. He said it was several. Yeah, but my hour-long video, I walked through every single claim against me and completely shredded the claims by either being grossly exaggerated or made up. Yeah. What you lack in height and fashion sense, you make up with good values and integrity. Have you talked about Doc's situation? What's your position on that? I'm very angry with him because I really looked up to him as a content creator and just as an entertainer. And I thought we were sort of brothers in arms, wrongfully banned from Twitch, and he really played up that sympathy. But the truth is, he got what he deserved. He and others probably should be banned from that platform. And it's kind of funny if you think about it, right? Like, looking back, his lack of wanting to talk about it, I think, speaks volumes. I've always talked about it. I've always been transparent with you guys. I've always admitted where I had committed wrongdoing and where I didn't. And with him, it was always the purple snakes, you know? And so looking back, I'm like, man, the red flags were there. This homie didn't want us to know what was going on. So yeah, it took me a few days to process it, but I still feel quite a bit of anger at him for what he did, and then for what he kind of convinced the public of. Very, very disappointed in him, and yeah. And obviously what he did was indefensible, and yeah. And to act like a victim the whole time, just, yeah. There's so many layers to that, because I really did. I thought, like I said, I looked up to him as a content creator, and I always wanted to work with him. And with what happened to him, I really felt like we were brothers in arms, you know? Like, yeah, we both got a raw deal. And it's like, wait, you actually did bad stuff. You know? Just so we're clear, you haven't done any awful crap we don't know about, right? No. No. You guys know. You guys know that part of my life now. You're like, oh, wow, you went to events and acted like an idiot, you know? Seems he was always playing the doc. Yeah. One has always been open about what he did. Yeah. I've never, since the beginning, I've never tried to do the, like, hide, obfuscate, don't want to talk about it thing. All the people who attacked me and went after me, that's what they do. Like, again, I think that that's a clear sign. You know? This is what they decided their weekly offering would be, not even a minute long. I told you guys that Concord it doesn't make any sense as a game to me. Like, it doesn't make any sense as a game. It's like, what's the point? It's not even a minute long video, like it's cutscene. Feed, how have you still not gotten a gifted membership? What is going on? What was said? We don't need to know what was said. We don't need to know what was said. He admitted that he was knowingly speaking with a minor, and then it got close to being inappropriate. Well, okay. That's all I need to know. That there's no defense of that. No. If he was made aware and he sees contact, okay, then fine. But he basically said, no, I knew. He knowingly was doing it. There's no defense of that. He got what was coming to him. You know, he's acting like it's, you know, all of it's going to come out, but it's like, homie, you let us know. You basically told us. What more do we need to know? And again, in my experience, when someone's going to act that way and be vague and kind of like be, you know, almost like kind of obfuscate and like, oh, it's like, yeah, there's probably a lot more to this. I don't even have confidence we know the whole story. Do you know what I'm saying? He hasn't shown himself to be somebody on the up and up and being transparent about it. So I have no reason to be like, oh yeah, that's all that happened. One crime that Lono has committed is willingly wearing the god-awful Reebok shoes. Alex says, the next one's for feed. No one touch it. It doesn't work, dude. It doesn't work, bro. Yo, Unwound. Thank you so much for upgrading to Member Plus. Let's move that line, dude. 533. Oops. It went to Michael 534. Say his name. Full name, feed. What's the numbers? I always forget the numbers. Watching old Corridors of Time video. Saw clips of you. Miss the day when everyone's together. Yeah. Be Awesome 31. No one has divulged the age of the person. We don't know. Like, you're saying that. I've not seen anybody else say that. Well, I tried with a 2-spot. Abyss says, sorry you had to suffer through all that hate. You stuck your ground and the people saw your integrity. The truth always comes out. Thank you. Have you talked about your interaction with Paul Tassi yesterday, or are you just moving on from that? Understandable if you just move on. The only reason I said what I said was because he's trying to claim that I used it to prop up myself. That's not true. I simply retweeted the article and I said, it's funny what a real investigation finds. Like when you actually investigate, hey, look, there's a predator at Bungie. And, he had Christopher Barrett had the nerve to call me a predator when he was one. So that's all I did. And then people were obviously going to Tassie and bringing me up. And so then he said something that wasn't true. So I had to correct it and be like, you didn't talk to me about what had happened. I called him the night it was all coming out. I'm freaking out. I'm like, there's another side to this. I was like, it's never been how they've painted it. The way they've always painted it, like when they emailed me in 2018 and they told me not to come to the event and all that crap, but they couldn't officially ban me from the event. It was like, I told him, I was like, there's another side to this. Well, he's out here making it seem like to the public that like he got my side of things. He didn't get my side of things. He didn't. So I was like, I'm correcting the public record. That did not happen. Don't give people this impression that like you looked into the entire situation and you came to a conclusion, because that's not what he did. This is also something that he forgets. The day that I published my defense video, he basically went on Twitter and said that I should be banned for doing that, for using the platform to defend myself. And he framed it as, using Twitch to attack your accusers. Isn't that a bannable offense? It's like, okay, so they all went on Twitch and accused me of stuff. I'm not allowed to go on Twitch and defend myself? So no, he did not get my side. And immediately when I went on the defense, he dismissed it. He framed it as attacking. And then he basically said that I should be banned for it. So no. What is your response to Tassie and Dirty Evan Hippie saying that it's gross for you to use this situation to benefit when they each said they know the truth about what you did? She knows nothing about me. She knows nothing about me. I have a DM from her where she basically admitted she doesn't know about my situation. So that's not true. And he doesn't know anything either, because what was claimed about me was either exaggerated or proven to be false. So they know nothing. They know nothing. And if they think that I'm trying to make the situation about me, it's because Christopher Barrett basically took credit for my Twitch ban, and he just got exposed as a predator. So it calls into question everything. He was one of the main people out there in the public referring to me as a predator. He was one of the people doing it, using his platform, using his respect in the industry to railroad me. Oh, unless we forget that the members of Rare Drop did the same thing. They went out and said a bunch of things about me that weren't true to make me look like a predator. And all that stuff is now gone. The fact that nobody cares about that is like, I think that speaks volumes. It's like you're just going to ignore the fact and brush over the fact that a bunch of lies were told because your friends came to you and said that, like, yeah, he made us uncomfortable a couple of times. And it's like, okay, but why were all these lies told then? Have you ever seen a guy outed for being really, really bad and then, like, there's just a bunch of lies in the mix? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like I said earlier, I've got something they don't, and I'll have it in 2 years, I'll have it in 10 years. I have the truth and the facts and evidence on my side. They never refer to facts, they never refer to evidence, because their facts, their evidence, and the things that they claimed were shown to be fabricated and false. All they ever refer to is believing their friends and that he's a conspiracy theorist cult, he has a cult that follows him. All they try to do is smear. They don't speak in facts. So guess what? I'll just keep doing this and keep biding my time, and the truth will keep coming out, as I've always said that it will. The truth is on my side, and so is evidence. So in 2 years and in 10 years, they can cling to the sycophantic little crowd that licks up their lies. They can keep doing that. Guess what? Everybody outside of the Destiny community that's looked into this, they see it for what it is. A lot of the people that watch me now and support me now, they're not even from the Destiny era. Do you know what they're from? They're just from YouTube. And they're like, this guy's telling the truth. They're liars. So go ahead. Go ahead. Keep clinging to your lies. Keep clinging to your false stories. The bad actors and the men guilty of misconduct, they'll get exposed in due time. And the rest of them will just continue to show themselves to lack integrity and to not look into a situation and get the complete story. So go ahead. Go ahead. It's been 4 years, and you continue to display a brazen lack of integrity and just, we don't care about the truth. We believe our friends, or, we don't care about an investigation. He's a bad guy. All right. You keep running with that. The rest of the watching world, the rest of the people that haven't drunk the Bungie Destiny Kool-Aid, they see this for what it is, and they're going to keep seeing it for what it is because it's real easy to show them. It's not hard. When you have the truth and evidence on your side, it speaks a whole lot louder than getting all virtuous on Twitter and clutching your pearls and making this about you. I've waited 4 years. I can wait 4 more. Hopefully they can continue to live with the lies they've told. Hopefully they can. That's the path they've chosen. I can wait 4 more years. More will come out. Took 4 years for this to come out. Could take 4 days for the next thing to come out. I don't know. A lot of skeletons in closets are rattling right now. You can almost hear them. Look how much they're compensating. Like, you can see it. Yeah, weekend preview. Yeah, that's the kind of people that you're defending and saying that should be believed. What are you saying, Lono? Friends don't lie? Yeah, man. You just believed your friends. Yep. Sure. You're speaking about seeking justice, but I see you have the Punisher shirt on. Respect. Anytime I know I'm going to talk about this, I wear this shirt. or wear a Punisher shirt. I do. It's not an accident. The problem is you don't have as many people out there defending you that can articulate as well as me. Not to say there aren't some, but if you had a bunch of us, I think it would make a bigger impact. I mean, I feel like a lot more people, every time this comes up, I feel like there's way more people on my side than last time, right? In the beginning, there'd be like a couple of people on Twitter going to bat for me. There'd be a couple people in YouTube comments going to bat for me. And then the next time it was a little bit more. And then the next time a little bit more. Now, dude, I checked the YouTube comments on 2 different videos. I checked the YouTube comment section. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, people out here are really going to bat for me. And I appreciate it. As long as you're respectful and you're not going on the attack and name calling and being nasty, the more calm you stay and the more charitable you stay, the more effective it is, Did you claim mental health compensation for this? I'm sorry, I'm from the UK. Yeah, we just can't, there's no legal route for us to take. I can't afford a legal route. I cannot, right? At the current moment, after 4 years of rebuilding, we're getting by. That's what I'm doing right now. I don't have like a spare micro fortune to throw at a court case. If I had a small little fortune, I would probably like pay off my house and invest it. Like going after these people would be pointless. It would take years and I would likely not get anything. It's really hard to prove defamation cases. It's really hard to win damages in cases like that. All that money, I don't have it. I don't have the money for it. And if I did, I don't know if that's what I would spend it on. degenerate drug addicts aren't credible witnesses? Yeah. And neither are people who use their position at a company to prey on their subordinates. They're not to be trusted either. Men who use their power and influence in their conference to, quiet their victims, they are not to be trusted either. You could spend all that money and still lose. Right. At that point, it would be a humongous gamble. It'd be like, what are you doing? You got all this money, you're gambling it. You can't put moral victories in the bank. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if somebody came to me and said, hey, I'll hand you a small fortune so you can take him to court, I'd be like, why don't you just hand me a small fortune so I can set up my kid's future and, pay off my house? Like, I'm not, what? You want to gamble? You want to gamble your small fortune? I certainly wouldn't want to do that. Yeah. 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 Those are so cheap. Like, I guess you can wash them, but I just thought like $5 for that whole pack. That's what I'm saying, you in general, not you, mama. Okay. Not you. Not you, mama. Yeah, I don't care. H3's been in a defamation lawsuit now. It's like it seemed like years. Yeah, it takes forever too. It's like you want to commit 4 or 5 years of your life. Ochi with a $50 super chat. What happened or didn't happen, what you did or didn't do, none of that's my concern. Everyone should have a path to redemption, except Bungie. That place needs torn to the ground. Leave a smoking hole for all to see. Like, I wouldn't want the people that work there that have nothing to do with anything to be damaged. Like, I don't wish that on them. I don't wish that on them. And the life that I lived in 2016, 2017, and 2018, when I was going to events and living in an uncontrolled way and living in a way that I'm not proud of, moving from that, and I've been seeing the same therapist since 2018, and if they want to deny me that right to change, and they want to deny me that right to redemption with labels and lies and dishonesty, listen, I think people do that, and it's a self-report. They're showing that they haven't changed. They've shown that they're stuck, whether they've got some kind of a grudge or their own skeleton in their closet or their own lies to cover up. It's like, I've been out here in the public for 4 years, admitting my imperfections and trying to be better and try to improve as a person and be a better father and be a better husband and be a better man of God. Like, I've tried to do those things and will continue to try to do those things. If they want to deny me that right and continue to use those labels, I think it speaks more volumes about them than anybody else. They can create this figment in their mind about who they think I am. They don't know me. They don't know my interactions with my community or my family or my friends. They don't even know who I am. There's some version of me they vaguely remember from 6 years ago, and it's turned into this monster in their mind. And it's like, if you want to keep doing that for the rest of your life and drink that poison and hold that grudge, that's your own self-inflicted wound. It's your own self-inflicted wound. I don't hold a grudge or vengeance in my heart for any of these people. I have empathy and sympathy for some of the women because they had no idea they were getting pulled into this plan, and it ruined them and it hurt them. I feel bad for some of them. They got tricked and they got duped by people that they thought were their friends. And all they achieved in the process was hurting me and themselves. A 5 spot from Durs. Thank you so much. He's crying on Twitter because people are calling him a liar. Well, don't be a liar and people won't call you one. The greatest way to not be called a liar is to be a truth teller. It's a real simple recipe. You want to say things that are provably false? It's not even a matter of opinion. It's not subjective. It's not like, well, I just believe my friends. He has said things about me that are not true. And when you know they are not true and you continue to say them, it makes you a liar. He didn't have to bring me up. He didn't have to invoke me. He didn't have to say things about me that weren't true. He didn't have to do that. He could have just talked about Barrett. Be part of something special? What, is Linkin Park going to be a part of the Fantastic Four soundtrack or something? Oh, they're announcing a reunion, a new singer song or something. Oh, it looks like a 4 in like a circle. Oh, no, it's not a 4 in a circle. It's their logo. It's the LP. Because it's cropped, it looks like a 4. I was like, oh, are they? Is that Fantastic Four? You covering games today? We knew that I wouldn't really be able to cover games today. We knew this would be like the front and center topic. So I was like, that's fine. We can talk about it. I opened the show saying that Marathon's cooked, and it was a catalyst to talk about all this other stuff. Because it's all related. Bungie was heavily involved in what happened to me, and the man who got outed as a predator and fired from Bungie was heavily involved in what happened to me, so to pretend it's not related is hilarious. The people acting like it's not related at all. It's like, because you think I'm a villain. I'm not, and the things said about me weren't true, so it completely changes the entire scope of what this situation looks like. Can you check my last? Yes. You think Sony's rethinking the $40 launch price for service games after Concord? Not PvP. I think they probably are rethinking them for PvP games for sure, but like I don't think if it's a PvE game, I think it hits differently. I think for Helldivers, I don't think people are like, oh my gosh. But I think if it's just PvP, I think the expectations in the market are just different. You know? I think expectations in the market for PvP games, arena shooters, I just think the expectation is not that there's going to be a price tag on that. I'm not saying whether or not that's right or wrong. I just think that that's the public's expectation. They knew when the Chris Barrett thing came up that people would talk about Lono and they wanted to get ahead of it. Yeah, I always come back to that line in True Detective when he said, "You sound nervous, Russ." They sound nervous. Do I sound nervous? They sound nervous. Sounds like folks are worried. You know, if you've just put it behind you and you feel like you did the right thing, why do you sound nervous? All right, we need to figure out how many members I owe you. I feel like this is kind of cooling in a very, very natural way. Okay, we started at 332. So, holy mackerel. So I owe you 40 members. I'll just make it a 50 bomb. Let's just round it out to 550. Round out to 550, and then I'll just drop a 50 bomb on chat. I did see somebody early on in chat that said, you know, they really wanted to praise Madam for sticking by, you know, through all of this. And I don't think I'd have made it through it without her, or without you guys, or without a support system. You sound panicked. It's True Detective. Thought it was you sound nervous. Oh, it's Rust. You sound nervous, Rust. It was when they were talking about like religion or something. Why do you sound nervous or something like that? Was it? Did he say panicked? I thought he said, why do you sound nervous, Rust? Is it panicked? Why do you sound panicked? Yeah. For a guy who sees no point in existence, you sure fret about it an awful lot, and you still sound panicked. Yeah. Sorry. I guess I've always misquoted it. I always thought he said, you sound nervous. You sound panicked. It's the same idea. You know, the spirit of the conversation is still the same. Madam is the GOAT. She helped pull all the strings behind the scenes to pull off the TV surprise. Yeah, dude. She's awesome. Yeah, right. Weird word choice. It makes sense in the context of when it happens. It does. Give me 60 seconds. I'll be right back. If we hit 550, if we hit 550 members, I'll drop a 50 bomb on chat. Right now, I owe you 40. And then there's a 5 bomb from Rygen. Thank you so much. 544. There it is. All right. If you guys hit it while I'm gone, I'll come back. I'll drop the 50 bomb. And then we'll just, we'll go to Writer's Room. And we'll just chill with all the members. So it's a good time to become a member. It's a really good time to upgrade your membership. If you got a gifted membership or you're paying for the $5 membership, we're going for a big goal, $6 memberships or the VIP memberships. We want to have 600 people at Member Plus and above, and currently we are sitting at 523. So keep it going, all right? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I usually don't take breaks when we're in public streams. I usually only do this when we're in like writer's room or something. Oh. Bass slapping. I don't even hear the music. I rarely have my headphones on. Actually, we're supposed to be doing that now. They want us tagging products that we use on videos. And I was kind of like, I don't want to. But I do use these Bose headphones. These, the Quiet Comfort ones. They're both Bluetooth, but you can also plug them in. And so I'll make sure and tag that. If you guys ever, are in the market for a pair of headphones, you can click the link below and check out the ones that I use. I'm not affiliated with Bose in any way, but that can open doors if we're using those things and tagging products like that. A company could suddenly say, "Hey, you're out here giving us love." And another 5 bomb from my man Rygen takes us to 549. Who's going to walk us to that 550? I'll drop a 50 bomb and then we'll get out of here, guys. We will get out of here. Performance for console release for Space Marine 2. What are they saying? Was I right? Is it going to be 30? 550. There it is. Rygen did it. Rygen did it. Focus. It's Focus Entertainment, right? 7 modes. Watch the full trailer. Pre-order now. That's just the Steam store. Oh no, is that a post? And the Agent of Chaos, a single from my man Hex. Hang on, let me get this link. On PlayStation 5, Series X and S, is there performance or quality mode? Quality mode will be 4K at 30, performance mode up to 60 at 1080. Ugh. Please note that on Series S, the quality mode will allow for 1440/30 and the performance mode will not be available. So there is no performance mode for the Series S, and PlayStation 5 will get up to 60. Series X and the PlayStation 5 will get up to 60 1080. Okay. And then the Series S will not get a performance mode. Yeah, that game ain't going to run at 60 on consoles. It's just not. They're being very careful. I mean, the fact that they're saying up to 60 at 1080, it's like, oh, for Pete's sakes. That's really not impressive resolution. And the fact that you're saying up to 60, Sure, Jan. All right. Here's the 50 bomb that I owe you guys. Thank you for just such an incredible day. The show of support, the more and more people that, see the truth, see the evidence, and see the facts, the more people that believe me and see people, for what they are, it means a lot. It really does. It's been a long road. We're certainly not done. It's very, very dehumanizing, and it's very, very frustrating to not be believed, but to also be attacked and maligned and called things that you are not. It's very frustrating. So I appreciate days like today. Take a quick second and smash the like button. I would love for this video to be seen by a lot of people, by as many people as possible. I think I opened up the video saying, I was going to do my best to not make it personal, but, it's just impossible for this to not become personal. It's just absolutely impossible. So, yeah. I didn't stick to my commitment to try to make it not personal. It is personal. It's literally impossible for something like this to not be personal for me. So, Dave, did Feed finally get one? Did Feed finally get a membership, like from one of the Raijin batches? I don't think he did. No, I don't think Feed has one yet either. Jiminy Christmas. We got your back, brother. I appreciate it. And again, I think it means a lot that we're seeing more and more people. Like, you can't keep running with the narrative that, like, I'm brainwashing people and that I just have like this cult following. If they're independently going and researching it and coming to their own conclusion. People that are not from my Destiny era are siding with me. And, you know, I think that speaks volumes. And I think it frustrates them because they realize they've consistently and continually lost their ability to control the narrative. Because their narrative was always rooted in falsehood. You know. So. Oh, Narwaffle. I didn't even realize I did that. I don't know. I think Derek's membership is still active right now. So, I just need to buy my own. I can't access the Discord anymore. Just be sure when you guys buy your own memberships or you upgrade your memberships, just pick Member Plus. Make sure you pick the $6 member tier. It is personal. You were wronged. They need to fess up. Yeah. I agree. Okay, let me schedule Writer's Room. This is your opportunity to hang out with us as a member. And it's one of the perks of being a member. Okay. And then let me set up redirect. And listen, there might be some of you that are like, oh man, it's always so hard to go back and talk about all this and drudge all this up. It hasn't been the focal point of content of the conversation for a very, very long time. And when it comes up, I was doing my best to just, sort of fly beneath it or above it. But this situation, there was just no way to do that. So, rocking the green room today. Yes, we will probably end up in the green room. Yeah. And we'll probably end up checking out that Akimbot game on console. I wanted to see if it felt any better on console. All right, I'm going to spam a link in chat. That is where we are headed. That's the Writer's Room. That's for membership. If you don't have a membership, pick one up and pick Member Plus or above. We can hit our milestone. Thank you to everybody who gifted members and went crazy today with Super Chats. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Let's get 7 more likes on this video before we leave. Let's get 600 likes, and I'm going to start the Writer's Room stream. Thanks so much for being a member, and you may have gotten a membership today. And so this is the writer's room. It's a daily segment we do where we sort of plan the next day. It's kind of a behind the scenes thing. You get access to that with your membership. Please remember that if you're currently paying for your own membership or you're on a gifted membership, we are trying to hit a big milestone. So consider upgrading and pick Member Plus for $6 or VIP. Both of those count. And we're trying to get 600 people at Member Plus and above, and we're at 523. Slowly working our way to the big goal of 1,000 people at Member Plus and above, and then I have to do a PC building stream. So keep doing that and keep upgrading. And we had a huge day of gifted today. I dropped the 50 bomb at the end and a lot of super chat. So thank you to everybody who showed their support today. I'm going to end that previous stream and bring folks over, and then I will make sure that the thumbnail no longer shows as live.